Good evening, everyone. It's me, Drive Ghost, and with Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT out of the way, it's finally time to jump into Dragon Ball Super, with this being the first part of the absurd scaling of Dragon Ball Super. This will cover the first two arcs of Dragon Ball Super, including Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, and the following episodes will likely contain multiple arcs as well until the Tournament of Power. And after that, I don't necessarily plan on covering the manga because my knowledge of it isn't as good as I would like when I go into covering that. So either I won't do it or I'll put in the time to research like the Moro arc and the Granola arc and all that, because I do kind of want to talk about it, I just don't think I have the proper knowledge to discuss it. But without any further ado, let's get right into it. Did I say further ado? So first things first, how much stronger would Goku and Vegeta be? Contrary to some people thinking that Battle of Gods only takes place a few months after the Buu Saga, it actually takes place 4 years. With it being shown that Goku and Vegeta were still training during that time, albeit not intensely like during Cell or the Buu Saga, due to there being an era of peace on Earth. Still, the fact that they were training means that they were likely getting stronger than they were in the Buu Saga, though not massively more powerful. They would be noticeably more powerful if, for example, they fought against Kid Buu again, but they wouldn't, completely dog-walk their past selves, probably. Not to mention Goku has a job, so he didn't have a lot of time to train anyway. But notably, when Vegeta got enraged, he was stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku, using only Super Saiyan 2, showing getting boosts from rage were still viable for them. But despite this, both Saiyans were significantly weaker than the God of Destruction, Beerus, who I don't plan to go into the scaling of in these videos. I'm going to do a video exclusively on him because he's a whole bag of worms, and I can't just stop progressively on the videos to talk about how they compare to Beerus, so I'm just going to give him his own video later on. Oh boy, it's time to talk about my favorite Super Saiyan form, Super Saiyan God. Super Saiyan God is a form achieved by a Saiyan gaining the ability to manipulate God Ki. Goku unlocked this via a ritual involving 5 other pure-hearted Saiyans, though it's later shown by Vegeta that gaining it through training with gods is possible as well. Goku was initially only able to use Super Saiyan God temporarily, but was later shown using it at will after his battle with Beerus and training with Whis. Now, this form is obviously massively stronger than Super Saiyan 3, considering that Super Saiyan 3 Goku couldn't land a single hit on Beerus, yet Super Saiyan God was able to land multiple hits on Beerus, so it is substantially more powerful. And just by clashing fists, not even like Kamehamehas and energy blasts and stuff, just fists, they were threatening to destroy the 7th universe. And speaking of that, before we continue, we kind of have to go into Dragon Ball cosmology, because their universe feats are a lot more complex than some other fictional universes would be. Dragon Ball's universes are, in actuality, macrocosms. In other words, they're essentially small multiverses, with... I just realized that says multiverses like the game. Oh my... That's what I get for getting addicted to it. In other words, they're essentially small multiverses, with the various realms and planes essentially being individual universes. The 7th universe itself contains roughly 5 of these quote-unquote universes, meaning Goku and Beerus' fist class threatening to destroy the 7th universe was, in actuality, more akin to destroying 5 universes simultaneously. What's more, both in the anime and in the Battle of Gods movie that predated it, Beerus explains that Goku's body learned from the experience, where he was then shown having Super Saiyan God-level power in just his base Super Saiyan form. Which technically means that even before training with Whis, he could have doubled the power of Super Saiyan God by going Super Saiyan 2, and then doubled it again, and then quadrupled it with Super Saiyan 3. So he still had some pretty insane universe-busting feats at this point. And yet he goes even further beyond that with yet another new transformation in the Resurrection F arc and the movie that predated it. If you don't know, the first two arcs of Dragon Ball Super were actually first movies that were then made into an anime. After training with Whis, Goku and Vegeta learned to do the equivalent of basically just using God Ki with Super Saiyan rather than their base forms. This form, formerly known as Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, which is one of the worst names in anime existence, and later renamed as Super Saiyan Blue, which is a bit lame but better, is 50 times stronger than Super Saiyan God because it's essentially a Super Saiyan God going Super Saiyan, hence the dumb name. And keep in mind, Super Saiyan God is already potentially hundreds of thousands of times stronger than the user's base, considering how large the jump between Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan God was. And at this point, their training with Whis allows them to pretty much control that massive power much better, no longer having to worry about collateral damage destroying entire universes when just punching each other. However, Super Saiyan Blue does have the problem that Super Saiyan originally had before being mastered. Being the form takes a toll and can't be used for extended periods of time. Due to its nature as a god form, it also takes a significant amount of time for them to get past this hurdle. They don't even really do it until the Tournament of Power, and even then, it's still kind of something for them to worry about sometimes. But again, enough of these Saiyan monkeys, let's talk about Frieza. Frieza undergoes significant evolution in Super. It had been known throughout Dragon Ball Z that villains didn't really believe in training, especially Frieza and the members of the Frieza Force. It is implied that they do some level of training, but obviously not anything to really, become stronger. It seems their training is more so focused on maintaining their power rather than increasing it, if anything. However, upon Frieza being revived, he decides to begin training, taking only 4 months to unlock his golden form, a transformation that could match Super Saiyan Blue. Now, people have talked on and on about how this is absurd, but let's really look at that. Sorry about my voice crack. Let's really look at that. Frieza had a base power level of 120 million at full power, which isn't really a transformation, it's more so just him accessing all the energy he has access to. But you could consider it a transformation, at which point his base power could be considered 50 million, something like that. It's in the millions, is the point. Whereas Vegeta's training list power level was only 18,000, and he, over the course of years, was able to get to the level of Super Saiyan Blue. So it does make sense that he would have explosive progress, considering his, latent natural talent and power. Especially given how dedicated he was to defeating Goku while he was training. And this form does have the same downside as Super Saiyan Blue, though significantly more severe. Frieza didn't take time to get used to the form or, hell, even master it, and thus he could only use it for so long, which led to the form running out when he was fighting against Vegeta. So, at this point, we have characters well into multiversal range. I mean, they could already destroy 5 universes back in Battle of Gods, then you could double, quadruple that with the Super Saiyan forms after Goku's body adapted to it. And then they could use Super Saiyan God again, further multiplying it. It's all over the place. Dragon Ball Super scaling is just absolutely wild, and it's literally impossible to keep track of just how many universes they can destroy with these multipliers, because we don't know the multiplier for Super Saiyan God. All we know is that Super Saiyan Blue is 50 times whatever Super Saiyan God is, and Super Saiyan God is massively stronger than Super Saiyan 3, which is 400 times. It's a total fucking mess. If you thought me trying to explain Super Saiyan 4's multiplier was frustrating for me, imagine this. This is just awful to think of. Luckily, though, later on, we do get significantly better margins for just how much characters' power increase with their transformations. So thankfully it won't be that much of a headache in that department, but it will be more difficult beyond that. Oh, excuse me if you heard that. Anyway, oh my god, I am so sorry, I keep burping. I was drinking soda. I apologize. But I'm excited to get into Dragon Ball Super, and as much as a headache as it's going to be, it is going to be fun to talk about it and get out of the way just how absurd the scaling is, so people stop downplaying it and all that. That is, after all, the purpose of this series, so people stop downplaying the absurd scaling of Dragon Ball. That's why I started the series to begin with. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next episode, where I will be covering the Universe 6 tournament and the Goku Black Arc. See ya.